watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
The Florida Citrus Bowl Stadium is set for a busy week. Tonight, it's an East Coast showdown in Orlando. The West Virginia Mountaineers have arrived as Big East co-champs. They're a talented, speedy group going for a 10-win season. The NC State Wolfpack are the ACC upstarts. They've put together a strong year with thrilling finishes. The Pack has one of the most dynamic quarterbacks leading the way. Russell Wilson is ready to put on a show. But who'll be the target of a top defense? West Virginia's Bruce Irvin notched 12 sacks this year. It's the ACC versus the Big East. Wolfpack Mountaineers in the Champs Sports Bowl. We welcome you to the 2010 Champs Sports Bowl, part of ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week. Tonight, from the Florida Citrus Bowl Stadium here in Orlando, the Big East co-champion West Virginia Mountaineers take on the NC State Wolfpack. Good evening, everybody. I'm Joe Tessitore, as always, joined by my partner, Rod Gilmore. Well, the modern-day college football scene seems to have three seasons. You got the regular season, the bowl season, and squeezed in between is the coaching carousel season. And among the headline-making changes, a big one from West Virginia.
Well, that coaching carousel even affects winning coaches. You think about Coach Bill Stewart at West Virginia, 3 consecutive 9-win seasons. But athletic director Oliver Luck felt that the program wasn't on track to win a national championship, so change is in the air at West Virginia. Dana Holgorsen, the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State, will be the O coordinator next season, and the coach in waiting will take over in 2012. Next season will be the last season for Bill Stewart as West Virginia's head coach.
And moments ago, our Rob Stone caught up with Coach Stew.
Well, Coach Stewart, what was your initial reaction when you learned that there would be a coach in waiting hired to take place next season?
Well, hey, I'm family. You take your marching orders and go, Robbie. It's been an honor and a real privilege and pleasure for me. It's been a fairy tale to be the head football coach in my home state. And I gave my oath 3 years ago, and I was hired to do the very best I could. And my marching orders say I have one more year, so I aim to do that.
Coach, what have these last few weeks done to your perception and outlook on Mountaineer Nation?
Well, hey, I'm born a West Virginian, bred a West Virginian. And, Robbie, when they lay me down, be it on the banks of the Ohio or in the hills of Mon County, I hope I'm laid down a West Virginian.
I get the sense that's not the first time you said that. Coach, we appreciate it. Joe, back up to you.
Thanks, Rob. I also get the sense it won't be the last time that you hear it. And as for NC State, they came up just short of a spot in the ACC title game. And within their locker room, their season being viewed as a success, a lot of credit goes to their star quarterback, Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and he's one of the top quarterbacks in the ACC. But this may be his last game. He's a great baseball player, may become a professional baseball player after this season is over. And he's the key to the game tonight for North Carolina State. He's a tremendous passer. He's going to be under a lot of duress with the West Virginia attack. And he may have to run since they really lack a strong running attack at North Carolina State. So he's really the key for the Wolfpack tonight.
West Virginia.
NC State won the toss. They defer. West Virginia will receive. There is Tom O'Brien. After all those years of bowl success at Boston College, now looking for his first postseason win with the Wolfpack. Also looking for a career milestone. A win would be the 100th of his 14-year career. Chris Hawthorne to kick for the Pack. And back deep will be Tavon Austin and Jock Sanders. Austin, number 1. He is a dangerous return man. And this is Sanders. And Sanders cuts back to the middle and crosses the 30-yard line out to the 33, tackled by Gary Grant. So the sophomore from here in the state of Florida, Geno Smith, who finished the season strong, Rod. Had his best passing day in the regular season finale against Rutgers.
Well, he's a little bit healthier than he was earlier in midseason. He's run the football a lot more the last 4 or 5 games, and he's a very accurate quarterback. Takes care of the football. Good player.
Clark and Devine in the backfield with Smith. And they go at the end around to start off the game. Jock Sanders with a big gainer out to midfield.
Well, Tess, that's a fast defense, and how do you attack a fast defense? You give them a little misdirection, send them the wrong way. A lot of juice, a lot of energy early on. They get them going to the right. They come back to the left with the reverse, the end around. Jock Sanders with a nice pickup.
Now Smith to pass. And over the middle, he is able to get it complete. And he does so connecting with J.D. Woods.
This West Virginia offense is populated with a lot of Smurfs in the skill area. Noel Devine, you know about him, small guy. Tavon Austin, also a small guy. Sanders, you saw him. This offensive line, a little bit of a shakeup because of the change up front with Madsen being out. They've moved a couple of guys around to account for that. The center is out for academic issues.
So Eric Jobe, the starting center, who does practice throughout the year backing up Madsen, but is normally a starter at guard. Here's Smith on 2nd and 7, and once again gets it complete to Austin, and Austin shakes loose and runs out for another Mountaineers first down.
Tess, let's take a look at this North Carolina State defense up front. Pretty good defensive line, 40 sacks on the season. Sweezy is a premier player up front with 6 sacks inside, unusual. Linebackers are strong. Nate Irving is really outstanding, and Terrell Manning's had a great season as an outside linebacker.
Here's Devine now. Noel Devine, who has had such an outstanding career. He's from Fort Myers, Florida. A lot of Florida guys in this game.
Yeah, you know, Tess, this secondary for North Carolina State is improved from last season, but it's a young secondary. 3 sophomores and a freshman, and they've struggled the last couple of ball games. North Carolina, Maryland, both threw for more than 400 yards against them.
So after a pickup of a couple from Devine, Smith now working out of the gun. 3 receivers to the near side, including Austin in the slot. Pressure off the edge. Gets rid of it, but Brad Starks was a little late in making his break, and the pressure came from David Akini off the edge. He transferred to NC State from Northeastern up in Boston after Northeastern dropped football last fall.
Well, I think there was some kind of a mix-up with that offensive line because Akini, that defensive end, should not come free and have a free shot at Smith like that.
I remember a couple changes up front for the Mountaineers with Joe Madsen, the starting center, ruled academically ineligible. 3rd and 8. Need to get to the 30. Smith, pressure comes again, and he goes down all the way back in midfield. It was Audie Augustin.
Well, Tess, this defense has been good about getting sacks. They blocked 5 that time, number 4 in the nation. This will be sack number 41. And on the outside, you see just a great job by Augustin, just beating his man over there, Jeff Braun, getting around him to make the sack.
So Greg Panetti comes out to punt. T.J. Graham settles in at the 12-yard line.
T.J. Graham did receive for the Wolfpack.
Fair catch inside the 10. And the West Virginia offense moved the ball past midfield, and then a couple good moments from the guys up front forcing the punt. So here comes Russell Wilson, dual threat star, dangerous runner, very accurate passer, led the ACC in total yards per game at 306.
He is undersized as a quarterback at about 5'11" and a half or so, but he's got really good skills. Good feet, has been more accurate this season than he was last season. Strong enough arm to make just about every throw out there, and this is a pass-first offense.
Starting tonight from the 7 is Wilson to pass, and he goes to his big tight end, George Bryan. And Bryan goes 6'5", 265.
He's not the only guy that's really tall in this offense. The skill receivers are very tall. Williams and Spencer, both 6'3", 6'4", are really outstanding. The running backs have not run for 100 yards in any single game this season. Bryan just made that catch out there. He's a premier tight end.
2nd and 2 now for Wilson, and that is batted down at the line of scrimmage by Pat Lazier. Lazier was the starting middle linebacker early in the year, but then had a bruised knee that he dealt with and gave way to Anthony Leonard.
Well, here's that offensive line. Duran Christophe is getting a start over Andrew Wallace, who's been out with a knee injury in practice. So a little bit of a change up front for this really good line at pass protection. Let's see if that has any impact.
Washington the lone back. There's James Washington. And he is stacked up. It'll depend on the spot, but Anthony Leonard came up and filled that hole.
It looks like he got a decent spot from the far side official.
Yeah, they do give him a generous spot. Indeed, and it is a first down for NC State. Hey, remember what happened at the end of the Maryland game in their season finale to try to get a place in the ACC title game, where it was a little controversial spot there.
Yeah, had they been able to get a stop on that fourth down play, they would have had a chance to score and send that game into overtime.
Play action now. Wilson. And he's able to get it complete out to the 30-yard line to Owen Spencer.
Well, that West Virginia defense is really good. It's a 3-3-5 defense up front. Chris Neal is really the key player. He requires a double team to handle him inside. Their linebackers are all really fast. Anthony Leonard, the leading tackler. Thomas is effective in blitzing. And we'll get to that secondary in a moment.
Wilson once again looking for his tight end over the middle. And Bryan has it out to the 39-yard line. It should be good for a first down, and it is. Leonard had the tackle again.
Well, Tess, the secondary, we're talking about 3 safeties and a couple of corners. That's that 3-3-5 stack defense. Sands is an NFL prospect, 6'5", 220, can run, will come down into the box and act like an extra linebacker.
Now, Rod, we're used to seeing Brandon Hogan back there. He's the best, most experienced quarterback, but he's out with a torn ACL. What effect could that have on the night as Washington goes for a couple there?
Yeah, you would expect to see Wilson try to take advantage of the backup over there, Jenkins, especially since he's got such talented receivers who are so tall. You've got a mismatch out there. At some point, you expect to see Wilson try and take advantage of that.
Williams goes 6'4", as does Davis. Owen Spencer is a 6'3" wideout for NC State. So a lot of tall options for Russell Wilson. Second and 7. Washington flanking Wilson out of the gun here. As time goes over the middle to Graham, a flag comes down as Graham is wrapped up just short of the line to make by Robert Sands.
E.J. Graham. Robert Sands on the tackle.
We have a Big Ten officiating crew here in Orlando tonight.
That's unusual. They got an offensive pass interference call.
Pass interference for 84 offense. 15 yards from the previous spot. Repeat second down.
Usually that involves a pick play between 2 receivers to rub off a defender in that area of the field. Yeah, that's Bryan, the tight end, and he's a big guy, and he can really rub you off.
He's a very effective offensive weapon for NC State as well. First team All-ACC the last couple years.
You know, Tess, we were talking about the matchup in this game earlier today. And when you play this defense, you have to be effective on first and second down because they are so good on third down with their nickel package, their dime package, their fast 5 and 6 defensive back set when they bring in their speed pass rushers and get after you.
Well, Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator for NC State, made a point to say that that's exactly what West Virginia does. They get you off schedule as an offense.
Yeah, you know, you want to pick up yards on first down, on second down, to have a short third down situation. That's staying on schedule. When you fall behind the schedule, these guys really get after you.
Well, now Tom O'Brien looking on. That schedule is off kilter a bit with 2nd and 21. Wilson sets up the screen to James Washington, and Washington is taken down all the way back at the 27-yard line by J.T. Thomas.
Well, you know, now you get into the second and long and the third down defense here. Now, what they do now is they bring in the pass rush specialist, Bruce Irvin, number 11. He gets on the field, and then Sands, number 2, will play all over the field. He may be a rusher, he may be a robber, and they get after you in this situation.
And watch out for that guy. There is Bruce Irvin, 12 sacks to lead the Big East, top 5 in the country. Wilson tries to escape, and he slides down at the 36-yard line.
You think Russell Wilson wasn't aware of that pass rush in that situation?
Been watching 4 weeks of tape of these guys.
Hey, he was quick. He was 1, 2, 3. Hey, it's not there. Let me get out of here.
Jeff Ruiz comes on the punt. He was benched this year after 3 games and then finished the season as the starter. Sanders and Woods back deep for the Mountaineers. And this takes an NC State bounce. Does it ever? Look at this. Still going all the way down to the 10-yard line. A good boot by the senior Jeff Ruiz. 53-yard punt. Welcome you back to Orlando, the Champs Sports Bowl. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV. Great night of college football here on ESPN from coast to coast. We're here in Orlando with this West Virginia NC State matchup, and then of course number 12 Missouri and Iowa coming up later in the Insight Bowl.
Well, you know, Tess, West Virginia would like to throw the football against this secondary that struggled the last couple of weeks. Smith is going to launch it, going downfield. Brad Starks, and he can't come up with it, but the flags come in. As C.J. Wilson was trying to stay there with Starks. Well, you know, we talked about this. This secondary struggled against North Carolina. Maryland had big numbers against them.
Pass interference. Number 20 defense. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
So we fully expected West Virginia to come out and test this secondary, and Wilson in particular. He and his running mate on the other side, Emerson, have had some issues with big plays, and Wilson clearly getting his hands in there, not looking at the football, impacting and impeding the receiver Starks from being able to turn around and make a catch. That's a good call.
So NC State has had an offensive pass interference and now a defensive PI. Inside handoff to Devine. Just able to get it back to the line of scrimmage.
And that's really where it's going to be. It's going to be throwing the ball because they're going to have trouble running against this defense. Slay and company are really good against the run. They attack the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to throw the football really to get a lot of things going.
Pressure again. Smith gets rid of it and able to get it complete to Stedman Bailey. Bailey's going to be about 3 yards short of that line to make.
Tess, a lot of criticism of the West Virginia offense out of Morgantown, although Mike Archer, the D coordinator North Carolina State, doesn't criticize. He's trying to figure out how to handle those smurfs and catch the ball in space.
Yeah, so many guys small and quick. Sanders goes 5'7", Austin 5'9", but they are fast. They get the ball near the line of scrimmage and they do damage. 3rd and 3. Smith. They set it up to Sanders. Looking for running room, and he finds it for the first down. Just as we said it. Quick feet, the ability to make something happen right at the line of scrimmage, and Jock Sanders shows off that skill set.
Well, it's tough to tackle him in space. Sanders can change directions. You'll see it here. Doesn't need a lot, but he makes 4 or 5 guys miss, just enough to pick up the first down.
41 straight games now with a reception for the senior Sanders. There's Devine. Forced back and then gets to the edge and just past the 40-yard line.
Yeah, Tess, interestingly, the offensive coordinator, Mullen, has received a lot of criticism this year for those screen passes and those things to put those guys in space with the short passes. Although that's what these little guys need. But the sense was this offense underperformed this season.
Of course, Jeff Mullen will be replaced by Dana Holgerson. He'll be the coach in waiting. Holgerson will be the offensive coordinator next year for the Mountaineers. Smith, empty backfield, and he threw it a little high for Sanders.
Yep, too high, too hard.
Brandon Bishop had coverage.
Too high, too hard. And Jeff Mullen is actually up in that booth and actually hiding from us at the moment.
Well, he's been in a tough spot this month, hasn't he, Rod, with the circumstances surrounding the coaching change?
Yeah, he said he did not see the change coming, caught off guard, surprised, and this is his last game, and will be looking for a job post-game.
Third and 7 now for Smith and the Mountaineers. Flag came in late as he was able to try to get it to Brad Starks. And it looked like there was some movement on that NC State front.
Yeah, I thought maybe Akini jumped on that far side.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside, number 94 defense. Illegal touching by number 2 on the offense, who's a covered receiver. Those fouls offset. Replay, third down.
Let's check in with Rob.
Well, guys, to add to that whole Jeff Mullen conversation, I spoke with him pregame. He had this very interesting comment, guys. He said some high-ranking people in the industry told him coaching today is the worst move of his career, an absolute no-win situation, and he agreed with it. But, guys, you could also hear in his voice how much he enjoyed coaching this team, coaching Geno Smith, how much he's going to miss it. He says resumes are out there, conversations are out there, but the coaching tree trying to find a job right now is like Reaganomics. There'll be a trickle-down effect after the bowl season.
Yeah, Rob, it's that time of the year. That is incomplete as Smith was looking for Bailey on third down. David Amerson was a defensive back who came in there against Bailey.
Well, Tess, I don't think there's any question that the dynamics have changed for coaches. I mean, it used to be get your team to a bowl game, and that's good enough, and you're going to be okay. Now, with all the emphasis on the BCS, you're not safe if you don't get to a BCS game as a head coach, and that means assistant coaches aren't safe.
Agnetti to punt here. Graham lets it bounce, and it takes a Mountaineer bounce inside the 15, where it is down at about the 13. Now, we talked about Mullen and the spot he's in and his love for his quarterback, Geno Smith. This was pregame before the Champs Sports Bowl. One last go-round for the O'Cord and the young quarterback.
ESPN College Football, the Champs Sports Bowl, is brought to you by Champs Sports. For the hottest athletic footwear and apparel, get to champsports.com to find a store near you. The Lexus December to Remember sales event, now for a limited time at your Lexus dealer. And Discover, it pays to discover, official card of the Bowl Championship Series.
Wonderful turnout in downtown Orlando for the pep rally for West Virginia for this Champs Sports Bowl. Now, Rod, NC State had to cancel their pep rally because their band couldn't get down here to Central Florida in time due to all the bad weather on the East Coast.
Yeah, lots of folks were affected by that across the country. A lot of fans for this ball game couldn't get here.
Reportedly 15,000 fans that were planning on being here tonight unable to attend, as that is incomplete as Wilson was taking a strike to Owen Spencer, who was covered by Keith Tandy. But the whole East Coast, you had airports shut down. They had ice and snow in the Carolinas. So the report is that 15,000 fans who intended to come here to this Champs Sports Bowl unable to make the trip down due to the bad weather.
And we've had good solid weather here. Nice turnout here, even though the 15,000 didn't make it. Good crowd here tonight.
Well supported, both these schools. Of course, West Virginia and NC State always had the reputation of traveling well to their bowl games. NC State thrilled to be here in this spot. They feel like they have this program heading in the right direction. Wilson now looking to escape. Gets rid of it and connects with Graham. T.J. Graham. And they make something out of it as Graham is able to get out to the 20-yard line.
Perhaps the best skill that Wilson has is extending the play. There was only a 3-man rush that time. Protection broke down, but watch him extend the play. He buys time, keeps his eyes down the field, looking for something to make other than running with the football. He extends the play and keeps his eyes downfield.
And a good guy to connect with on a play like that, because Graham is the record-setting kickoff returner. He knows what to do with all that green space. Now 3rd and 3. Wilson turns around and able to connect with Williams, and Jarvis Williams has it out for a first down crossing the 30-yard line.
A nice little wrinkle to the playbook, using Wilson's feet sort of as a misdirection, get him rolling to the left, influence the defense to roll that way, and then throw the quick screen back out the way it came from. Good footwork. Look at him. Little misdirection. Come back and throw to Williams for the quick screen.
And the team captain, Jarvis Williams, who went to high school just about a mile away from this Florida Citrus Bowl. And now over the middle, able to get it to Williams again. So some rhythm being found now by Russell Wilson in this Wolfpack offense.
Well, I really believe that when he is on the move and running, he gets a little bit better. And Sands and Glover make the tackle on Williams, but Wilson threaded the needle with that ball. And moving around running, I think, gets him comfortable. He's more accurate, and he really throws the ball well when he gets into a rhythm like that.
22-yard reception as they cross midfield. Plenty of time. And he runs for it and slides down to the 39-yard line. Capital One Bowl Week continues Wednesday. 3 games on ESPN. First at 2:30, East Carolina, Maryland. The Military Bowl presented by Northrop Grumman. Then at 6 Eastern, the Illini and Baylor in the Texas Bowl. And at 9:15, number 14, Oklahoma State faces Arizona in the Valero Alamo Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week, Wednesday on ESPN. Oklahoma State, Arizona. Dana Holgerson, the offensive coordinator there, will be the coach in waiting at West Virginia. And Stephen Howard is able to connect and get another first down for the Wolfpack, forced out by Terrence Garvin.
You mentioned Oklahoma State and Justin Blackman. Man, what a season he's had. And with another 100-yard effort and touchdown catch, he'll be, what, the first receiver to go 12 straight games with 100 yards and a touchdown in every game?
I think statistically, one of the finest seasons you will ever see out of a wide receiver, what Blackman was able to do this year. Fresh set of downs. Over the middle, was trying to get it to George Bryant. Just off the extended hand of his all-conference tight end.
I thought Bryant was held up a little bit. I thought he was being held as he got down the field. And, yeah, it looks like Leonard has him. Leonard's got him by the arm a bit, and he can only reach out with one arm. He got away with one there.
Anthony Leonard, the linebacker who was trailing George Bryant. Bryant's one of those guys that there's no secret to any defense. They are all over him on every play. Wilson, another first down as Owen Spencer is still on his feet down to the 20-yard line.
Well, Tess, this is the right formula. We talked about it, you and I, all week. You know, first and second down, they got to throw the football. I mean, you got to complete the passes, because if you get into the third down situation, you're in trouble. And they're completing passes on first and second down.
They're being aggressive with their play calling here on first and second
Absolutely.
down. Mustafa Green, the running back, flanking Russell Wilson now. Get it to the edge again. Once again, it's Williams. And Williams wrestled down to the 16-yard line.
You know what that is? That's a running play. And because they can't run it from the backfield, you just fling it out wide and you do those things. You create a running game by throwing short, and that's what Dana Bible is doing right now.
Dana Bible, who describes this holiday and bowl season as very special to him and his family, fighting leukemia over the course of the past year, watching his offense march down the field here against the Mountaineers defense. Highly rated Mountaineers defense. Wilson connects his running back, Green, and Green into the end zone. Touchdown, Mustafa Green and the Wolfpack. A 16-yard touchdown reception. Russell Wilson to the true freshman running back, Mustafa Green.
I think he broke 2 or 3 tackles on his way into the end zone. Was determined to get in there. May not touch the ball a lot out of the backfield running the football, but he can catch it, and he ran with some authority after the catch.
Josh Chakowski. The extra point is up and good. So the Pack strikes first. Good-looking 10-play drive. Capped by the Frosh. Green into the end zone. Rod, that's the Osborne spectacle of dancing lights at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Impressive, isn't it?
Like that.
Walt Disney World Resort here in Florida. Great place to make some Disney memories. Speaking of bright lights, well, we got lights on the scoreboard now. 7-zip here in the Champs Sports Bowl. Joe Tessitore alongside Rod Gilmore and Rob Stone. Mustafa Green with the 16-yard touchdown reception for Russell Wilson, who accounted for all 86 yards on that last drive. Tavon Austin now on the return. Austin trying to get to the outside and is forced out short of the 30-yard line by David Amerson.
Hey, Tess, let's go back to the touchdown and look at the mismatch that we get here when Najee Good tries to handle Washington out of the backfield. Not a good matchup for them. You got a nice running back coming out against a strong linebacker. 240, can't handle that guy in open space. And how about the way Washington finishes the run against Sands in the end zone? I'm sorry, Green.
Their leading rusher, even though he's come off the bench in 11 games this year. Only the 5th touchdown drive of 75-plus yards allowed by West Virginia this year. Here's Devine now. Noel Devine spins free and then backed up. As Brandon Bishop was able to corral Noel Devine. Not the typical Noel Devine season, was it?
Well, you know, he struggled the last season and a half. You know, this year it was a toe injury that, since the LSU game, really kind of slowed him down. Last year was an ankle that hurt him probably midway through the season. And that's been the challenge for him, is getting him healthy. Keeping him healthy.
Austin now comes in motion into the backfield with Smith. And that is batted down at the line of scrimmage. Nate Irving and Terrell Manning getting in there with their hands up against Geno Smith. Looked like Irving got a piece of it.
And Devine comes back on the field, and yeah, they've moved to more of a power offense at times when they take him off the field. But in a 3rd and long situation, you need him. He did not rush for 1,000 yards this season.
He's dealing with injuries for most of the year. 3rd and 8 now. Pressure right up the middle. They set up the screen to Devine. Devine trying to get to the edge, and he does for a first down as Irving was chasing him. Let's see this mark here. Did they mark him short of that line?
I think they did.
They did indeed. Rob?
You guys, to add to the Noel Devine conversation, you know, his stock in NFL eyes went up earlier in the year with all the receptions he was grabbing. The NFL guys, though, then started getting greedy, asking West Virginia, hey, can you let him return some punts, too, so we can see it on tape and see if we want him? I talked to Todd McShay about him, and he said there are a lot of smart football coaches in the NFL who will find a use for a guy who's become kind of a trendy type back, right, Rod? These guys love these 5'8", 5'9" speedsters who can cause a lot of havoc.
Well, when you see what Dexter McCluster did for the Kansas City Chiefs out of Ole Miss as a 2nd-round pick, it helps the stock for someone like Noel Devine.
Flag came in. As a delay of game will back them up. But let's go back and look at this mark, because Devine obviously can see the red marker. He knows where he has to get to. And they mark him short of that line to make. Netty's kick now takes another bounce inside the 20. NC State has had success blocking punts this year. They came after that a bit, but Netty gets the best of it. So the NC State offense will return out to the field with a touchdown lead. End of one.
This January, ESPN is your new home for the Bowl Championship Series.
Glad you're with us here alongside Rod Gilmore and Rob Stone. I'm Joe Tessitore. Coach Tom O'Brien enjoying a touchdown lead here in the Champs Sports Bowl. A couple teams that you don't see on the field often, not since 1979. Later tonight, the Insight Bowl, number 12 Missouri against Iowa. They haven't played since 1910.
Wow.
That's what I like about the Bowls.
Yeah.
Some unique matchups.
You get the great matchups, and I'm interested to see Matt Millen break down the two quarterbacks in that ball game. We saw Blaine Gabbert. We like him. I want to hear what he has to say about it.
Sean, Matt, and Heather will have the call to Insight Bowl after we're finished here. Here's James Washington with a good gainer out to the 30-yard line.
That is the first effective running play we've seen from North Carolina State from the line of scrimmage.
He missed the first 5 games with a hamstring injury, but he has started the last 3 as Washington.
This offense has been all about Wilson and his throwing the football.
Here is Wilson. Big hit on Washington. That is incomplete as Sidney Glover came up and just blasted away.
Well, and it appeared to be a good hit. It looked like it was below the shoulders, and if it's below the shoulders, Glover came in on Washington, then that's fine.
And James Washington is being tended to now.
Yeah, you see the shoulder he delivered, right shoulder, underneath the shoulder pad. I mean, that's what the NFL and college football is talking about. They want hits that are below the shoulders to get away from the whole concussion area. Nothing wrong with that hit. Nice, clean, healthy, good sportsmanship. Nothing bad about it at all.
And a good sign you just saw there as Washington was quick to jump up and run off the field. He's from Boone High School here in Orlando, so a lot of family and friends coming out. He was excited to come back home, as were so many on both NC State and West Virginia that grew up playing high school ball here in Florida.
NC State does an awful lot of recruiting down here.
Coach O'Brien looking for win number 100 in his career. Will it be the last time Russell Wilson is his quarterback for the Wolfpack? Wilson connects with his fullback Gentry, Taylor Gentry, former walk-on. He's been their #1 fullback for the past couple seasons.
Wilson had a nice career at NC State baseball. As a 4th-round pick of the Colorado Rockies. Went to the minors last season after getting a nice little signing bonus, but only batted about .230 in some 32 summer games. And didn't hit for much power. And so a lot of people question, well, is there a bright future for him? But making the transition to a wood bat and facing pro pitching on a limited basis, tough, but he's got potential, no doubt about that.
3rd and 6. And he gets the first down to Darrell Davis. Davis, one of those big targets that we keyed in on. So Russell Wilson, the baseball player, he graduated from NC State in May. Couldn't attend a ceremony because he was playing with the baseball team. We told you, drafted by the Rockies in the 4th round, was the 140th overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft. Played for the Tri-City Dust Devils out in Washington State. That sounds like a vacuum cleaner.
And near
Dust Devils.
Near Pasco, Washington. It gets dusty out there.
And here he goes on the ground, just settling in short of midfield.
Yeah, so Wilson played second base. He's a second baseman. He's got really soft hands, a really good infielder. And like I said, didn't hit for a lot of power or a lot of average. But you saw in that video, he was swinging the aluminum bat. And you go to the minors, you got to pick up that wood. You know, that's a whole different deal, and a lot of guys struggle making that transition with that.
Now, you were a dual sport guy. Stanford, you were a baseball player, a football player. I'll get to that in a moment, but Green, but you know, my thought there is, Rod, is sometimes it's a mentality, is how you view yourself. Do you consider yourself a football player? How did you deal with that?
I considered myself whatever I was playing best at. and I think Russell Wilson's got a bigger dilemma because he's having an awful lot of success as a quarterback, but his potential really is with baseball. There are not a lot of 5'11" quarterbacks in the NFL not named Drew Brees, you know? And Drew Brees is really special.
Here's Green on 3rd and 2. And good run by Green as he dives out to the 40-yard line. A nice block, by the way, from the right guard, Zach Allen, that time to open up that hole for Mustafa Green. And move the chains again.
Well, they're running it just enough to keep drives alive, but the running has come because of the passing, not the other way around. And I think Dana Bible's done a really good job of mixing it up. You know, short passes, quick passes, enough to keep that defense moving and keep the rush off, and then come back with the run.
Fresh set of downs for Wilson. Pulls it down now. He's going to run it. Has a lot of room. Gets a good block from James Washington back in the game after he took that big hit.
Well, we talked about it early on. This game is on the shoulders of Russell Wilson. When you don't have a strong running attack, your quarterback has to generate all the running. And Wilson has great feet, and he is very decisive here. He decides he's out of the pocket. He sees things downfield. Washington gives him a great block on the edge there.
18-yard run. Now Wilson making something happen. Still looking at his options. To the end zone. Incomplete. Owen Spencer was waiting on it, but couldn't come down with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody does a better job of extending the play than Russell Wilson does. And because he's so quick, he's got great feet, he's able to change direction and buy time. And he puts his ball on the money back there for Spencer.
Watch Spencer as his hands crisscross here at the end. What could have been. Coverage came from Pat Miller on Spencer. Washington now. He's able to get it down inside the 19-yard line, wrapped up by Najee Good.
Yeah, you know, really, from an X's and O's standpoint, nice strategy. They throw on first down, and then on second down, when West Virginia goes to their rush package and they bring in the speed rusher, they try running the ball on second down, and they're able to pick up a little yardage. Nice job by Dana.
Offensive coordinator, down up a 3rd and 6, lofted, but it's incomplete. Jarvis Williams backed up, stretched out, and it falls to the ground.
Well, he goes 6'4" and has some hops, and that's a good matchup for him out there when you're facing corners about 5'10", as he is over there with Keith Tandy, who's only about 5'9", 5'10".
So Josh Chakowski out to attempt the field goal. This will be a 36-yard attempt. 43 out of 53 in his career. His 3rd and final season as the Wolfpack's kicker. And it's a fake. Over the shoulder. It bounces. It's still rolling around. And finally scooped up by a West Virginia special teamer. That was Terrence Garvin. Boy, oh boy, you know, Rod, I called the LSU Florida game earlier this year when they pulled off that play. It took a fortuitous bounce. It doesn't for the Pack, though, in this spot.
Can you imagine if that had bounced that way for the Mad Hatter when he called it against Florida? Wow.
Hey, that's what you get in bowl games. Open up the playbook. Let everything go. The Pack tried to pull one off, but the bounce doesn't go their way. Joe, Rod, and Rob with you here in Orlando Champs Sports Bowl on a beautiful night here in Central Florida. NC State up 7-zip. Capital One Bowl week continues Thursday. Pair of games on ESPN. First at noon Eastern. Army back in a bowl game. First time since '96. Taking on SMU, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Then the new era Pinstripe Bowl from Yankee Stadium. Kansas State and Syracuse at 3:20 Eastern. Capital One Bowl week on ESPN Thursday. Smith. Downfield. Sanders hauls it in. Good-looking pitch and catch. Geno Smith to Jock Sanders.
Well, they ran a two-man route on the right side with Sanders in the slot, and Sanders ran the corner route while the outside receiver ran a deep route and took away the coverage, and a nice throw by Smith. You see Sanders is now wide open heading to the vacated area.
Sean Alston now getting work in the backfield. He takes the carry and he slips down just inside the 40-yard line. Rod, so much criticism about the West Virginia offense. Obviously, we know the change that's going to happen next year. This only the second game of the season that West Virginia failed to score in the first quarter of a game. Here we are now at the 10-minute mark of the first half, and we're still looking to get on the board.
Yeah, well, this was the criticism all season long. The offense underperformed. Many felt this is a team that should have won the Big East, and they didn't.
Alston again.
Alston on the carry.
He was tackled by Michael Lemon.
The defense was not criticized this season. It was the offense. Devine has had a stellar career at West Virginia, but this season was not healthy enough to run for 1,000 yards. Under that this year.
3rd and 4. 5 receivers for Geno Smith. Escaping the pocket, looking for that line, and he has it as he was taken down inside the 30-yard line by Terrell Manning. So a good decision by the sophomore from Miami, Geno Smith. #1 in the Big East in passing efficiency this year. He got better as the season went along.
Well, he started running the ball as the season went along, as he got healthier, and they realized they had gone away from using the quarterback runs in their offense. They picked it up more, and it helped the offense as he started running it more.
And you think of some of the all-time greats that played at West Virginia, of course, recently, Pat White, speedy quarterbacks that they've had through the years.
Jared Brown was there last year.
Now sprinting to the near side and connecting with Sanders. Sanders darts ahead, and Sanders is forced out by Brandon Bishop. Just a minimal gain there.
Well, North Carolina State wanted to take away Sanders and Tandy, and really keep them from getting yards after the catch. And you haven't heard much from, Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin is the guy that they wanted to handle, and #1 has not done an awful lot in this ballgame yet.
Smith. Here is Austin, and Smith put it a little high as Austin was coming back for that screen.
And Austin has been a real focal point of the offense, particularly the latter part of the season. 8 touchdown catches this season. Very effective with the ball in his hands, yards after the catch. You take a look at Jeff Mullen coaching his last game at West Virginia.
Dana Holderson from Oklahoma State will be coming into that slot as the offensive coordinator for next year, and then he'll become the head coach in 2012. 3rd and 9. Play clock down to 1. Pressure up the middle from Irving, and Smith just puts it into the ground.
Well, we talked about the pressure. Irving is a guy who can bring it. So good to see him back on the field after missing 2009. This is a team that has 41 sacks. You see the pressure. They bring 6. You can't block them all. Irving, talented, 6'3", 225 with really good speed.
So Tyler Bittencourt on to attempt the 43-yarder. That's his long this year. It's 10 of 15. And this just stayed off to the right side. So Bill Stewart, his team unable to get on the scoreboard here in Orlando. More to come. Stay with us.
ESPN College Football, the Champs Sports Bowl, is brought to you by H&R Block, never settle for less, Mazda, Zoom Zoom, and the Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet?
Joe Tessitore, Rod Gilmore, Rob Stone with you here at the Champs Sports Bowl. Part of Capital One Bowl week here in Orlando. Later tonight, of course, we'll have the Insight Bowl between number 12 Missouri and Iowa. Doubleheader of bowl action here on ESPN. Tom O'Brien's NC State Wolfpack up a touchdown. Bill Stewart's team unable to connect. This field goal by Tyler Bittencourt moments ago. So now the capable Russell Wilson in that Pack offense back out on the field. Let's check in with Rob Stone.
And we're joined now by Oliver Luck, the Director of Athletics at West Virginia. And Oliver, when did you know you wanted to make a change with the coaching staff?
Well, I think as you go through the course of a season, every athletic director evaluates the components of the team. And I thought we were struggling offensively. And in the conference, that really wasn't the strongest conference around the country. So I thought really about halfway through the year that we needed to make a change.
All right, another question after this play. Hold on a second.
After reception by Mario Carter. 2nd and 7 now. Play action. Wilson fumbles the ball and able to jump back on it.
Oliver's a little dialed into the game, by the way. What does Dana Holgorsen bring to the staff that the present staff was missing?
Well, I think Dana is just a tremendous offensive coach. He has had success, tremendous success in terms of his offenses at Oklahoma State, at the University of Houston, at Texas Tech. And I think it's kind of the wave of the future, quite honestly. And I think that his style and what he can bring to our team is going to really, really help us the next couple of years and then on beyond in that as well.
What will be a successful season next year?
Well, I think a success will be based on us understanding this new offense, the kids being able to execute it, and scoring a bunch of points because our defense has played so well. We just need to score more points.
So this was a move based around scoring more points, more or less.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly, football is a simple game. At the end of the day, you got to score more than your opponent. And we lost some games where we just couldn't put points in the board games. I think we had the talent to win. So it's really about making us a better program.
You were very blunt in your assessment of the coaching staff. Looking back, do you think you used the right words?
You know, I try to be honest. Sometimes that's blunt or bluntness, but I think at the end of the day, with Coach Holgorsen on board next year and with Coach Holgorsen taking the head coaching position after next season, I think it just gives us a great chance to win a national championship.
And real quick question about your son, Andrew, heading down to discover Orange Bowl for Stanford. What is the timetable? What are the decisions you guys are going to make about his next stop, or whether he stays or goes to the pros?
Well, we'll talk after the Orange Bowl. He's got about 10 days or so until the date when he has to sign up. And there's so much, turmoil with the NFL collective bargaining agreement. That's going to play a role in his decision, I'm sure.
All right, Oliver, appreciate the time. Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Well, here is his son just a few weeks ago in New York. Andrew Luck, one of the 4 finalists for the Heisman Trophy, was the runner-up to Cam Newton. And Oliver and his wife just a couple rows behind, taking in that experience. Been a busy month. When your son is the Heisman runner-up, you're the athletic director, and you make a move like he did with Dana Holgorsen.
Yeah, well, he'll be here for this ball game, obviously, and then head back to Houston for a few days before going to Miami to watch Andrew and his Stanford teammates take on Virginia Tech.
Here's Austin now. Tavon Austin, a good move and a gain of 8 for that Mountaineer offense. David Amerson, the other #1 with the tackle on Austin.
Well, you heard Oliver Luck talk about winning a national championship, and you look at what was done with Stewart here. 3 straight seasons of 9 wins, and a conference that he says wasn't that strong, and he's right. And so he thinks there's a chance to win the Big East, and perhaps if West Virginia had won, they wouldn't be making this change.
Devine was forced back by Earl Wolf. So Bill Stewart, and specifically his offensive coordinator Jeff Mullen, as the holding call goes against them.